Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. If you don't already know who it is, it's the one and only, the true Alex J. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and they said, is entrepreneurship for me? And I think that's a really good question, and I want to go through this video and explain to you what kind of person you need to be in order to be a successful entrepreneur. I believe that anyone can be an entrepreneur. I genuinely believe that, but I think there's a certain type of person that can become a successful entrepreneur, and I think that's the real question. It's like, can I be successful? Can I make it? And I think that kind of depends on the type of person that you are, and there's a few different things that are required in order to become successful. One of them is that you need to be a little bit crazy, and I know it sounds strange, but I genuinely believe this. I think you need to be a little bit off point, and the reason for that is, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to be different. You're trying to be what is against the norm. So you can't be 100% normal to make that decision, because you're going to be going against everything that society tells you. You know, normally society says to you, you need to get a job, you need to, work really hard until you're really old, and then you retire, you've got a big ass mortgage, you've been to university, you've got a big debt, you have some kids, and you pass away, and that's pretty much your whole life, right? But in order to be an entrepreneur, you need to be thinking differently. You need to say, I want more than that. I don't want what's normal. I don't want to be normal. I want to be different. I want more. I want excess. I want to be able to have happiness and travel around the world. I want to be able to give my family exactly what they deserve. I want to be able to give to charity. You need to be able to say those things, right? So, is entrepreneurship for you? Well, firstly, you need to say that you don't want to be normal. You don't want that first thing that I said. You don't want to go down that road. You also need to be able to say that you're extremely persistent. You're going to have a lot of people around you that are going to tell you that when you first start, sometimes it happens like this. Sometimes people around you will say, I really hope you do it, man. I really believe in you. You can do it, and everything else, right? But when you actually start to do it, when you actually start to make it, that's when you'll start getting a lot of conflict. That's when the people around you all of a sudden will start changing. That's when you'll start getting a lot of negative feedback, and you'll get a lot of haters, right? And a lot of big names talk about this. You'll have people around you start saying, maybe you should just, stop doing that and get a real job. Or maybe they'll look at what you're doing and say that it's wrong. Or maybe they'll say, you shouldn't be doing it like that, you should do it like this, or whatever, right? So they're going to give you all these different negative opinions, and you're going to get a lot of them. You need to be able to take those on board, but keep moving forward, right? So you need to be extremely persistent. You need to be able to take it in, but keep pushing forwards. You need to be extremely motivated. You need to have a good reason to move forwards. Let's say, for example, that you're doing it just for yourself, for selfish reasons. It's going to be difficult to stay motivated, because once you've achieved that goal, it's hard to keep moving forwards. So let's say, for example, you said, your goal is, I want to make a lot of money. If you've got no money, your perception of a lot of money is going to be a bit warped, right? You might have like $10,000 or $20,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, and you think, no, that's a lot of money, right? So then you're not motivated anymore. Once you've hit that goal, once you've hit like 100K, you're like, cool, I did it. And then you become relaxed, right? And you kind of let the market take over. You'll slow down and the company will fold, right? So you need to have a real reason to stay motivated. So you need to give yourself a core purpose. So it needs to be, I want to take my family to the next level. I want to be able to give X amount of money to charity. I want to be able to have these kind of choices. I want to be able to travel to these countries. I want to have this car. I want to have this house in this location. I want my kids to be able to go to this school. I want this healthcare. Like, you need to really, really be precise and say exactly what you want, and then you can work towards it. It's a lot easier to stay motivated. So you need a lot of motivation. You also need a lot of discipline. It's not easy all the time when you're working for yourself. If you're working for someone else, you start at 9, you finish at 5, right? You go in, you do your work, you go home, you get a paycheck regardless. As an entrepreneur, it's different. You could be working 20 hours a day, you could be working 60 hours, 80 hours a week, and you're not, at the beginning, you're not going to make as much as you would work in a normal job. But you have to get through that to the point where you're not having to put in as many hours, but you're making way more excess financially. Right? So you need to be able to get through those times. You need to be able to stay disciplined to yourself and say, right, I must work X amount every single day. I need to put in this work, I need to put in the grind. Because once you put the work in, once you start getting the results, it becomes a lot easier for quite a few different reasons. One, you'll have the knowledge, one, you've got the experience, one, you'll have the connections, one, you'll already have the authority, which takes a long time to build. One, you'll have the sales. So you're gonna have everything required in order to have a successful business. So that's extremely important. You're also gonna need determination. You need to stay determined, inspired. You're gonna need to stay inspired throughout the journey as well. You're gonna need good health throughout the journey as well. You don't want to be sick all the time because again at the beginning you're going to be putting in a lot of hours, so you don't want to be sick all the time, especially if your company would usually provide healthcare, and being an entrepreneur you're not going to get that. So you need to factor all of this in and say, can I do this? Are my goals worth going through this? Okay, because if your goals are big enough, you'll say that's not a problem. I'm willing to sacrifice my time, I'm willing to sacrifice my energy, I'm willing to invest all my money, I'm willing to take that risk because you know that it's worth it for your goals because they're big enough. If your goals are quite small, where you're saying, look, I only want to hit 10,000 a year or 20,000 a year or 30,000 a year, there's no real point. I'd say just go get a job. There's no point putting yourself through that stress. There's no point going through that momentum, putting in all those hours to only do like $20,000 or $30,000. You might as well just get a job, right? So you need to be thinking like that. So I hope this has helped you. I hope you can make a decision. I'm also holding free business consultations to all entrepreneurs. So if you're just starting out and you need help and advice, we do free consultations via Skype, and you can find the link in the description. Please, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I'm also on Facebook, which is facebook.com/TheTrueAlexJ. Look forward to speaking to you guys again soon, but in the meantime, peace.